Local, trusted. This is News 3 at 10 on KBTX.
We're learning more about yesterday's deadly shooting at a naval air station in Pensacola, Florida. Investigators are uncovering more details about the gunman's past and his possible motive. Law enforcement identified the gunman as Saudi Arabian national Mohammed al-Shamrani, who was killed during the shooting. The FBI launched a global investigation to determine his motive, including whether or not the shooting is terror-related. Officials say foreign students have trained at the base for years. All undergo a vetting process and a background check. The Defense Department says it will review measures for screening foreign students. The 3 Minnesota National Guard soldiers killed in a helicopter crash Thursday have been identified. James Rogers Jr., Charles Nord, and Court Plantenberg died in the crash. The National Guard lost contact with the helicopter shortly after takeoff on a maintenance test flight from St. Cloud, and the crew called Mayday. The crash is being investigated. North Korea announced today that negotiations with the United States to denuclearize is off the table. The announcement came from North Korea's UN ambassador Kim Song, who took shots at the White House's attempts to keep talks open despite 2 major summits between North Korean leader Kim Jong-un and President Donald Trump. Last week, North Korea threatened a Christmas gift unless the Trump administration agrees to significantly ease sanctions as part of any resumed nuclear talks. Well, taking a look at weather now, another nice weekend to be outside and go shopping or just be out in the yard. Couldn't ask for better weather.
You really couldn't. I mean, for folks that really like some of the mild weather, soak it up now while you can, because we are going to get that taste of winter coming right back here to the Brazos Valley. You'll notice outside not a whole lot going on. One thing that you'll notice, though, once we kind of turn on these temperatures here, is that a lot of us sit upper 50s, lower 40s. But you'll notice calm winds, clear skies. That could be the perfect recipe that we need as we head into the overnight hours to see a little bit of this fog trying to develop. Now, it's not a guaranteed chance, but notice how some of these values coming in just close to about half of a mile or so. For us, usually that's a good indication that we may have at least some dense fog. And I think mostly our southeastern counties are the ones that we're going to have to watch out for that. But we know we've got a lot of events going on tomorrow. The marathon starts early in the morning. Temperature-wise, if you are going to be running, it's going to be 49 degrees, and then we'll slowly be working our way back up into the mid-60s by the time a lot of folks are starting to wrap up those activities. But again, we talked about some big changes on the way. We'll get you more details on that coming up here in just a few minutes.
Thank you very much, Erica. Developing news tonight in Houston as police investigate a shooting that killed a sergeant. Police say the shooting happened around 6 p.m. when Sergeant Christopher Brewster was investigating a disturbance call at a home in Houston's East End. That call from a female who advised dispatchers that her boyfriend was assaulting her and that he was armed with 2 weapons. He came under fire as soon as he tried to exit his patrol cruiser when confronting them and was shot multiple times. Brewster was taken to the hospital where he later died. A suspect was taken into custody shortly after it happened about a block away. Police are still investigating. Over in Huntsville, Sam Houston State Police are looking into who shot up the side of a building on campus. Police say that no one was injured, but the Piney Woods Hall sustained damage, as you can see in this picture. This is an active investigation. If you have any information regarding this incident, you're asked to call campus police. Bryan police are looking for a man who held a clerk at gunpoint before leaving with an undisclosed amount of cash. Police say it happened yesterday in the 800 block of William J. Bryan Parkway just before 7:30 p.m. The man entered the store with a gun and later fled with money. Thankfully, no one was injured. If you have any information, you're asked to contact Bryan police. Some road closures starting tonight for events happening tomorrow in BCS. The annual BCS Marathon and Half Marathon begins tomorrow morning. Major roads include parts of Hallman Drive, which will be closed starting tonight from 10 p.m. to 8 a.m., and parts of George Bush Drive, which will be closed from 6:30 a.m. to 7:30 a.m. For a complete list of road closures, check out our website, KBTX.com. And also happening tomorrow is the annual Bryan College Station Christmas Parade. The parade will start at 3 in the afternoon and ends at 5 in the evening. The route will begin on University Drive at Polo Road and turns north on Texas to Sulphur Springs Road in Bryan. Texas A&M Transportation Services has announced that the VO-Ride bike sharing service is stopping at the end of this year. The Transportation Services says they're ending the deal due to bikes blocking access to sidewalks, doors, reports of vandalism, and unsafe bike antics. TMU Transportation Services have requested a bike share system that allows for bikes to be locked to a rack. But it's unclear if the vendor will respond to the request by the end of the semester. Texas A&M has said if the contract isn't renewed, customers who have paid in advance past December 31st will get their money back. A local company is getting in the holiday spirit by working hands-on to give back to the community. Reynolds & Reynolds in College Station held its annual bike build event this morning. Employees brought friends and family along to help build more than 100 bikes. These bikes will be given to local first responders' families. The company says it's a great opportunity to bond as coworkers while giving back.
There's something very unique about bikes in terms that it's a very simple Christmas gift, very classic Christmas gift, but also a sense of freedom that the kids get from getting it. They can ride around. It's a year-long gift. It's definitely not going to ever go out of style.
Once all the bikes are finished, they will be delivered to police and fire stations all over Brazos County. The City of College Station celebrated the holiday season tonight with Christmas in the park. Central Park was dazzling with Christmas lights, putting on a holiday show for families. The free event also featured old-fashioned hay rides, a petting zoo, and real snow slides. The city says it's an exciting event in town that helps bring the community together.
We don't want to charge for it. This is something that will bring families out here. Love the kids out here. We try to do as much as we can for the community, and this is the kind of event that everybody really loves.
The city says more than 20,000 people visited the park this weekend, and the fun continues next Friday night. With gift cards being the most popular holiday gift, tomorrow brings an opportunity to stock up and save. For one day only, shoppers can save 10% on Target gift card purchases up to $300 in stores and online. The minimum gift card purchase is $10 and the maximum is $300 with a $30 maximum discount per household. The cards will be redeemable starting at 10 a.m. on Monday. Area ranchers say they're feeling optimistic about 2020. Learn why in this week's From the Ground Up. And later in sports, Heisman hopeful Joe Burrow and the LSU Tigers roll in the SEC championship game.
And get ready, we're going to be going on a little bit of a roller coaster here the next couple of days as we get a warm up right out ahead of our next bigger cold front. We'll get you all these details coming up right after this.
Closed captioning on News 3 is sponsored by Brenham Chrysler Jeep Dodge and Ram.
Shop us 24/7 at BrenhamHasIt.com.
It's all about people. It's all about home. Working together, loving our own. From country roads to our city streets, it's the neighbors we love and the new ones we meet. KBTX, the very best we can give. We're here where you need us, here where you live. See life the way that you choose. Oh, yeah. News 3, this is your news. KBTX, it's the time that we share. It's for you, it's for me. People who care. Brazos Valley, this is for you. News 3, this is your news.
You're watching News 3 at 10 on KBTX.
Ranchers are always hoping for better prices next year. Strong demand for beef here at home, along with some optimism about exports, has many industry experts encouraged for 2020. Shel Winkley has more in this week's From the Ground Up.
Domestic consumption is great. Population is growing here in the U.S. The economy is great in the U.S. Beef is a luxury item, so when the economy is good, people are working, unemployment's low, people are willing to buy beef. At the same time globally, the population is growing. The Japan deal is a huge impact for us.
Jason Clear is an associate professor and Texas A&M AgriLife Extension beef cattle specialist.
We've talked about China a lot over the last couple of years because of opportunities. Japan, we just needed to get the tariffs fair. The people in Japan, they love our product. They love U.S. beef. But when we're competing with tariffs from Australia that are significantly lower or other countries, it's hard. With the new trade agreements, our tariffs are going to come down and we're on an even playing field. And so that Japan market, that's going to increase, and that's a huge opportunity.
Clear points out that in recent years, South Korea took up the slack from Japan.
And they almost surpassed Japan as being our #1 importer of U.S. beef. Now I can see that Japan market's going to come on up and it's going to creep up and that we're going to be players. If we can increase the demand or the amount of product going to China, that's a huge demand. And when you sell more beef globally, it reduces the amount of beef product here domestically, can bring our prices up for producers.
But Clear stresses that the importance of U.S. consumers cannot be discounted.
Now, we do have to be very careful with that. I don't want to put all my eggs in the export basket, all right? I want to make sure we've got a very strong domestic meat consumption here, because borders can close and then we'd have a wreck on our hands.
I'm Joe Winkley, looking at Central Texas agriculture from the ground up.
From the Ground Up is sponsored by Producers Cooperative, proudly serving agriculture since 1943.
News 3 weather from the Pinpoint Forecast team is sponsored by the Bank and Trust. Local bank, local bankers. And now, local weather.
Our next weather maker has quickly started to move off the west coast and into California late this evening, and you'll notice it's bringing with it a lot of these blue colors, which really, when you break it down, is just some high-level clouds as well as some of that rain that you see out across Arizona. So all of this wet weather eventually is going to be headed our direction, but it's going to take a little while to get here. Until then, you'll notice a few clouds certainly going to be possible throughout the day tomorrow as we're waiting for that area of low pressure to finally slip off the Rockies. Once it does, by early on your Monday, we'll eventually start to see a cold front form across North Texas and then eventually scoot our direction. But notice we don't have a whole lot of rain popping up out ahead of this. A lot of that rain actually sits back behind this cold front. That's because we've got another little wave of energy that sits behind the front. It's going to actually delay the arrival of really some of that better rain for the Brazos Valley, though keep in mind the fact that it's behind the front does mean it's probably not going to fall quite as heavy. So we'll call it about a 10% chance for a quick isolated shower on your Monday. I think coverage starts to increase by Tuesday. Maybe seeing a quick isolated shower early on your Wednesday morning, though that threat may be starting to come down pretty quickly. And then we've got another small cold front trying to roll through as we head into Friday, but I really think it's going to struggle to make much in the way of rainfall. So as far as totals go, quick couple tenths of an inch to a quarter of an inch certainly does seem possible, but unfortunately it is not a guaranteed rain chance for everyone. This area of low pressure all the way up in Canada is going to be the thing that sources some of that colder air that filters back in behind that next cold front. And then you'll notice we get an area of high pressure. That high pressure is basically just going to lock in some of these colder temperatures back across the Brazos Valley. So keep in mind, tomorrow and even into your Monday, winds gusting close to 20 miles per hour are going to be possible. But the second that wind turns back out of the north, gusting at 30 miles per hour at times, with temperatures combined in the 40s, it's going to be pretty chilly from start to finish throughout your Tuesday. So it's going to be a pretty mild start to the day on your Monday. By Tuesday morning, this is probably going to be your temperature right after midnight. Throughout the rest of the day on Tuesday, temperatures are tumbling out of the 50s and then eventually into the mid-30s as we start off your Wednesday morning, with wind chills again getting closer to about the mid-20s. So you're definitely going to want to bundle up over the next couple of days in the upcoming week. For now, though, temperatures sit into the 50s. I think a lot of us headed for the mid-40s. Again, if you've got any plans tomorrow, watch for a little bit of that patchy fog. Otherwise, I really think temperatures are on their way to the mid-70s here across the Brazos Valley. So really, I think it's going to be a very beautiful day kind of from start to finish. Again, we're going to be watching for that little bit of fog. Temperature is going to be warm and sticky on Monday. Cold front comes on in and we finally get that taste of that winter-like chill back in the Brazos Valley.
A little bit back and forth, and running the marathon tomorrow with a few thousand other people should be pretty nice for the start.
I think so. If you like some of the colder weather, you're going to enjoy the start of the marathon tomorrow.
Right. Thank you very much, Erica. Well, today marks 78 years of the date, which will live in infamy. We look back at the attack on Pearl Harbor in 1941 and how history lives on here in the Brazos Valley. Americans across the country honored the 78th anniversary of Pearl Harbor today, when Japanese military planes bombed a naval air station in Hawaii that killed over 2,000 American soldiers. More than 2,000 people attended the ceremony to remember those who lost their lives that tragic day, including a dozen survivors. Back home in the Brazos Valley, the Museum of the American GI honored the lives lost in our military with its History in Motion event. News 3's Kendall Hogan takes us there.
This is the weekend of December 7th, 1941. They call it a day that will live in infamy.
More than 2,000 Americans lost their lives when the Pearl Harbor base in Hawaii was attacked. It's moments in history like this that living historians like Denny Hare teach.
Our history was not free. It never will be free. And it takes people going out and fighting and sometimes losing their lives for us to have the freedom to come out and enjoy our holidays and to do the things that we love doing with loved ones.
The Museum of the American GI's History in Motion event helps bring America's past to life.
The tanks are really cool, lots of cool Humvees, and just a really neat event.
The museum says it's a great way to transport younger generations into the past with hands-on activities.
You can get around a tank or a truck or whatever it might be, and it spurs their interest in history, then we've accomplished what we're trying to do.
In College Station, Kendall Hogan, News 3.
If you didn't catch today's event, you can still see most of the tanks and trucks during the museum's operating hours.
Coming up next in sports, it's Championship Saturday in college football, plus the Big 12 and SEC clashing tonight on the hardwood. Highlights from Aggie women's basketball and more after the break.
From the KBTX Sports Center, News 3 Sports starts now.
There's a lot to play for on Championship Saturday in college football. In the SEC title game, 4th-ranked Georgia was looking for a win over number 2 LSU to try and stay in the top 4 in the college football playoff rankings. The Tigers looking to win an SEC title for the first time since 2011. This is the 4th time Georgia and LSU have met in the SEC championship game. In the first quarter, Heisman candidate Joe Burrow has had all day in the pocket. He's waiting, then he connects with Jamar Chase, and that's Burrow's 45th touchdown pass of the season, a new SEC record. Well, Burrow keeps adding on to that new record. He finds a wide-open Terrace Marshall in the end zone. They take a 14-0 lead. Second half, Burrow looking like Johnny Football on this play. Scrambling and somehow escapes pressure, then throws a bomb to Justin Jefferson. That's a 71-yard play that leads to another Tiger touchdown to finish off that drive. LSU is going to extend their lead. Burrow to Jefferson again, an 8-yard touchdown to extend the lead 34-3. And the Tigers roll 37-10, finish off the year 13-0 before the playoffs. Former Alabama offensive coordinator Lane Kiffin headed back to the SEC. He was named the new head coach at Ole Miss. Kiffin just won his second Conference USA championship in the last 3 years at Florida Atlantic. Kiffin previously made stops as the head coach at Tennessee and USC. Kiffin replaces Matt Luke, who was the Rebels head coach for the past 2 years. Ole Miss finished the 2019 season with a 4-8 record. With Georgia and Utah both losing, the winner of the Big 12 title game between Baylor and Oklahoma could make the college football playoff. Sooners strike first on a Kennedy Brooks 6-yard touchdown run to give OU a 7-0 lead. Baylor starting quarterback Charlie Brewer left the game with a possible concussion, but Gary Bohannon comes in to bring the Bears back. That's a 33-yard TD pass to Tyquan Thornton, helping Baylor grab a 13-10 halftime lead. Fourth quarter, Baylor down by 10, and with their third quarterback of the game in Treston Ebner, finds Jacob Zeno downfield. That's an 81-yard touchdown pass. The Bears come back to tie this game up at 23, sending it to overtime. Then in the extra period, Ramondre Stevenson runs it in from 5 yards out to take the lead, and Oklahoma's defense seals it to win the Big 12 for the 5th year in a row, 30-23. A&M women's basketball at Reed Arena hosting Oklahoma State. In the second quarter, we'll start things off. Aggies and Cowgirls trading leads. Aliyah Wilson knocks down the jumper, giving A&M a 23-22 lead. Then Bryn Gerlich pass inside to Natasha Mack. She gets the bucket to go, and Oklahoma State takes the 1-point lead, 26-25. Free throws tie the game back up. Then Kennedy Carter drives in for 2, and the Aggies have a 32-28 lead at the half. Aggies keep the momentum in the second half. Carter taking over, drives down the lane for the layup. She had 31 points on the night, moved into 4th place on the all-time scorers list. A&M leading 40-32. Carter finds Kayla Wells in the corner. She knocks down the 3, giving A&M a 20-point lead at the end of the third. The Aggies go on to win 74-62.
The third quarter was all about transition. We tired them out. I kept telling them to run. Kennedy and Sham was forcing us to run with them, and Kayla was hitting some threes, and folks, we just ran out of gas. But when you're going against a good team that's already played Louisville and Oregon, they've seen teams as good or better than us.
The Aggies will be back at Reed Arena Wednesday to host TCU. Now, the Texas A&M men's basketball team will face Texas tomorrow afternoon in Fort Worth. The Aggies will try to snap their current 3-game losing streak as they face their former conference rivals. There are 6 players in the A&M roster not from the Lone Star State, so former Rockdale Tiger Wendell Mitchell is teaching some of his teammates about the rivalry.
Yeah, I gave them bits and pieces. I told them, like,
It's important that we win this game. It's huge to me, honestly. Being an hour from Austin, an hour from College Station, you know, I've always been on the Aggie side from day one, so I try to tell them, like, yo, like, it's real. It's real. The rivalry's real.
The Aggies and Longhorns last met in a regular season game back in 2015 in the Battle for Atlantis tournament. Texas A&M won that game 84-73. Tomorrow afternoon's game is scheduled for 2 o'clock start at Dickies Arena in Fort Worth. Now, the Aggie track and field team started their indoor season today with the Revel Invitational. In the women's long jump, the Aggies take the top 3 spots. Deborah Aqua finished first, followed by Taryn Milton and Cinnamon Stevenson. In the men's 60 hurdles, freshman Andre Toure takes first place with a time of 7.99 seconds. In the women's 60 hurdles, Houston's Naomi Taylor finishes first, followed by Aggie's Kayla Robinson, Tyra Gittens, Milton, and Kennedy Smith. Texas A&M will be back in action January 17th, hosting the Ted Nelson Invitational. Last night at Reed Arena, Texas A&M team volleyball team beat Rice in 4 games to advance to the NCAA tournament. Senior Holland Hands led the way with 28 kills. That's the 26th straight game Hands has recorded double-digit kills. The Aggie volleyball program is now headed back to the Sweet 16 for the first time since 2009.
It's the best feeling, honestly. We just the way that we came together as a team, and this was a complete team win, and so just to experience that, and especially last time out in Reed Arena with these amazing fans, it's just the best feeling in the world, and I'm so thankful. But we got a lot of work to do, so I'm excited to move forward.
Sweet 16, the Aggies will travel to take on number 4 overall seed Wisconsin. Now in high school hoops action today, Rudder boys fall big to Cy Ridge to close out their tourney, and Buffalo tops Iowa 38-33. Girls basketball, Rudder wins their tournament championship game in overtime. Consol picked up a win in their final game of the New Braunfels tourney. In the Thrall tournament, Somerville girls advanced to the championship game. Centerville advanced to their tournament championship game, but they fell short to Marlin. Hearn Lady Eagles beat Teague 56-42, and the Aggie Land Homeschool wins 53-34. So very busy night in sports.
Very busy.
Sports this weekend, and you can find more high school scores up online, KBTX.com.
It's that busy time of year. We've got football wrapping up. We've got basketball and volleyball going
right,
on.
kind of all the seasons, kind of mesh.
Yep.
So
Thank you very much, Tyler. We'll be right back after this, but first, a quick look outside from our Live Eye Network. Here's Texas A&M.
Here are tonight's winning lottery numbers, sponsored by Star Furniture and Mattresses. Come see the new Star, starfurniture.com.
Saturday is a sweet day indeed. It's National Cotton Candy Day. The staple of carnivals, fairs, and the circus dates back to the 1400s and has gone by many different names. Among them, sponge sugar, candy floss, and fairy floss. To mark the day, enjoy some cotton candy and post to social media with the hashtag National Cotton Candy Day. Now, some fun facts. Ironically, a dentist and a confectioner teamed up to invent machine-spun cotton candy in 1897, and it's believed another dentist later came up with the name cotton candy. I didn't know all that history and backstory to it. I'm trying to think. Probably my first memories of eating cotton candy was, I think, at the circus as a really young child.
Yeah. Right. Well, that's the only place to know where to get it. I mean, I don't know where to get.
I mean, I think you can buy it probably at a store in bags, but it's not as fun that way.
Yeah, sweet thing to snack on, not all the time, but a good treat.
It is, absolutely. Well, we're going to take a look at your forecast here. Tonight, overnight, I think we're going to spend most of it into the 40s again. It'll be a little bit of a cooler start. If you're running the marathon, expect for a cooler start to the day. Then as we head towards the afternoon for the BCS parade, again, we've got temperatures back into the mid-70s, so not needing too many layers by the afternoon. Again, tomorrow and even into Monday, those are going to be the warmest days of the upcoming week. Temperatures falling all throughout the day on Tuesday, again with light rain, a little bit of a breeze. It's just going to make for a pretty cold combination as we kind of head towards the middle part of this next week.
An action-packed weekend. Thank you very much, Erica. That's all our time tonight. Join us tomorrow for News 3 at 10.